We're gonna start the recording here.
Hey,
Okay.
Jonathan, could you do me a favor?
Yeah,
I, I'm, could you just send me a list of when the UPLC
yeah,
and the power gyms are each week? Because
yeah.
sometimes I have conflicts. Like I've got,
I'll tell you right now. It's always the same link, and we just on the Probate Data Powergym is always going to be on Fridays at 9 a.m. and
yeah,
UPLC is going to be Thursdays at 10 a.m. and it's always the same link. The link never
yeah, but
changes.
there's something earlier in the week though, isn't there?
Well, that's Tuesday night, Tuesday afternoon for you guys at 1 p.m. That's the CPress live COVID classes that we're doing. We started doing special classes at the beginning of COVID back in March.
Yeah,
So we're doing weekly classes on there. So those are at 1 p.m. I'll send you a sheet. I'll send you a
okay.
sheet with all the links on it.
Yeah, because
Um,
I've got 4 Zoom classes today.
wow,
Yeah, I,
wow.
I've been
Well,
busier with COVID than I was before.
well, here's what I'm hearing, guys. There's a lot of action in the market. The market seems to be really hot, just probate or otherwise, like the general market. Is that true for wherever you guys are at?
Well, I know up here in the Bay Area, the market is still very good, particularly in the East Bay. It's
Yeah,
slowed a little bit in San Francisco and the peninsula,
yeah,
and particularly as a lot of people are getting used to working, remotely.
yeah.
And you look at companies like Apple, Google, and Facebook. They're not talking of opening their campuses up until next July.
Wow. Yeah,
And I have a friend that works as he's with Cipher Cloud, which is a high tech company that does a lot of government encryption, works with the CIA and the FBI and things like that. They have closed their offices down. Everybody's working from home. And a lot of these high tech companies are reluctant to come back and open their offices up because if someone gets sick, these
yeah.
engineers are just
Well,
say, I'm never going to work for that guy again.
we're in the same boat. Our entire office, our entire staff. I had a hunch about 2 weeks before that this was going to happen, that people had start working from. This was back in March. So in February, I started preparing all our technology and our work from home technology and our phone system and our communication styles and everything else. I started pushing that to actually be more remote. So now we have a nice big office in Long Beach that's empty, and our entire staff is working in remote areas. So not to get too deep into that subject, but yeah, people are working from. But I'm just curious. Like Patricia, you unmuted yourself, and there's a few others. Just curious, like, what are you guys experiencing on your side of the market? Is it getting really hot? Is the market heating up? Is there a lot of action?
There's a lot of action, and unfortunately, the inventory is still low. So when we have buyers, we're competing with multiple offers, like four to
Yeah,
five on a house, and it's just shooting the prices of homes up here. So
yeah,
I'm in Arizona.
yeah,
And so, I mean, little dinky houses are going for like two something, almost close to 300. So it's
yeah,
challenging finding homes for buyers. And
yeah,
so just calling and trying to get people back into the market, put their house on the market. There's a lot of building that's going on too.
yeah,
So I'm figuring within the next several months, that's going to hit. And so
yeah.
things will probably shift.
Yeah, yeah. My friends just sold their home. They put it in the market for 135 million, 350,000. This is in LA Valley Village. It's a nice home and has a yard and everything. And they sold, and a couple bought it from West Hollywood. They moved further towards Valley Village for 1.6, and it blew their minds. When they listed at 1,350,000, I said, "Don't be surprised when you close out at 1.6." And I had a hunch this was going to happen. That's exactly what happened. A little bit over 1.6. And that's the LA market. Obviously, it's a little crazy out there, but we've been talking to agents, to new agents, because we've only certified 11,000 agents, and there's about 1.3 million of you out there, and there's a good 1.6 to 1.8 million listings a year in probate that need to be taken care of, and we only certified 11,000 agents, so we have our work cut out for us. We want to go out and certify more agents, and the agents we're talking to right now, they're saying, well, I don't need this because the market's good, the market's hot, I'm getting listings. But I'm saying, well, just like Clara said, and Patricia, there's not a lot of inventory. What are you going to do when the market's not so hot? What are you going to do when everyone's competing for inventory, and how are you going to get the listings? So This is why we love and believe in probate real estate. It was born out of personal needs about 10 years ago between Mike and Molly. Like Mike had to go through probate with his dad. I didn't, because my dad, when he passed away 15, 16 years ago, he had a living trust set up. So we were at two opposite ends of the spectrum. And one of the things Mike realized after investing in probate real estate was that this is a huge opportunity for agents that are looking for listings, because no matter the times, uncertainty otherwise, or markets up or markets down, people are passing away, and their estates need to be handled, and they need an expert like you guys. So for today's class, go ahead. Go ahead, Clara.
No, I was going to say, here in the Antelope Valley, which is north of LA, we usually at this time of the year, or usually we would have like maybe 1,500 homes up for sale as an average. And right now we only have, as of the end of August, we only had 409, and 44 of those were condominiums. And and we cover all the way north through probably part of Kern County, and part of Santa Clarita, but that's all we have.
Yeah, and maybe you need to start. So one of the things that we can possibly talk about today is thinking creatively to expand your market size without leaving your home, and thinking around the corners, so to speak, to get more deals done outside of your market, and we can talk about that. But also I want to just address, like, if you have any specific questions to Probate Data around data, just put in the chat and I'll check there every now and then. Looks like Bob Lal is asking, I'm not seeing any new probates coming in. Are there leads still being sent here in San Mateo County? So here's the deal with San Mateo. Like a lot of places in Northern Cal, the courthouses are kind of fluctuating. They're taking new cases in, but they're not publishing them yet. They're only giving them to the parties that are involved in the cases, and a lot of times the courthouses are not letting people in at all. They're just finding everything online, and then they're giving access online, but you got to pay like between $5 to $7, maybe $10 per case at times to get those cases. So what we're doing right now is wherever we can buy it, we're buying it, and wherever we can't get access, we're referring our members back to historical prospecting. But there's one other thing I want to talk to you guys about today, and that is, how you can find markets outside of your, like Claire was saying, I'm in Antelope Valley, I'm going all the way up to Kern County, and I'm trying to see what we can get, but there's no inventory. How could you possibly get access to more inventory without leaving your home? Well, there's a creative process, and it requires a little bit of creative thinking on your part. But if you guys are open to it, I want to show you guys today how you can take advantage of the entire database of probate data, where we currently have over $20 billion worth of real estate in it, because we're covering 90 counties. So with that kind of volume, it'd be a pity if you're not thinking outside the box, outside your county. So I have some other things we can talk about as well, but I just want to see by vote of hands up or yes, or in the chat, is this something that would be interesting for you guys?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
a question though about that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're dealing with areas outside, which I don't mind driving or going anywhere, but I have some rental properties of my own, investment properties, and I've always been kind of averse to doing things remotely.
Yeah.
How do you establish, I'm asking the others too, how do you establish a comfort level in dealing with somebody that may be out of your area?
Well, step one, you got to get out of your comfort zone, right? That's step one. I get that it can be risky and challenging, and I'll address those challenges and those pitfalls or mindsets as we go through this. And I don't have any notes prepared for today. It's more of like what I've seen over the years work really well, and I know some of our highest performing, highest producing agents amongst our members. This is what they're doing. So some of you might be doing this already. And before I get into this, let me just answer Linda Wells. Will you be doing Kern County in the future? We're not planning on it, Linda, just as a heads up. And yeah, let's dive in. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna shut down the chat, otherwise I get distracted. But if you have questions, put it in the chat and then I'll answer them later. So here's what I've seen work really well. And that is, when agents realize that they're sitting on a gold mine called probate real estate, and there's limitations either by the number of leads that are available in the area or the number of historical prospecting. Here's what I've seen happen a lot. So I've seen people like Deborah Blue do it. I've seen people like Andrea do it. I've seen people like Michael do it. So I've seen people do it. They don't really talk about it, but here's what I do. And I saw even Michelle mentioned it in our group here 2 months ago. And that is like everybody wants inventory. And that includes agents and investors, okay? So, and even consumers. So if you're sitting on probate data right now, and I've done plenty of classes on how to log in probate data and find leads, here's what I would do. I would start looking at finding people you can partner with, either other agents or investors or investor groups outside of your area. Let's say, for example, you know someone in Chicago. And I know Chicago is blowing up right now. We had someone, was it John King on Tuesday? Not John King, it was someone in Chicago. He just joined a month and a half ago. It's like, it's great here. We're getting leads and we're getting listings. He just joined, he had 1 listing already. He had 3 more on the way. So one criteria could be like, well, which area do I want to get into? You could go nationwide, because here's the thing, guys, you're sitting on a database called Probate Data that has leads for the entire, well, not the entire nation, but like 92 counties roughly and counting. Now, in some counties, we have more data than others, and in some, you can get current data, you can go back in time. But here's what I would do. I would find someone, and either I would partner with another probate CPRES agent or a non-CPRES agent. And I would maybe not with a non-CPRES agent, but probably a CPRES agent. And I would say, look, let's work together. What if I warm up the leads? What if I get the appointments? What if I get you on the listing appointments and you list this? What kind of referral fee would that be worth to you? I put this question out in the Facebook group 2 months ago. I said, if we give you a lead that's ready to meet with you and you have an appointment by Tuesday and you get that listing, what kind of referral fee would you pay back? And the average was 25%. If they had to do nothing, somebody even said 50%. If they said, well, if you just get me the appointment and I show up and I get the listing, I'll give you half my commission once it closes. So this is where you guys need to figure out for your own market and for your own broker rules and all that, how you would do it, how you would structure it. But I know you can get referral fees. I don't know if you're restricted by county, by state. I don't think you are. But like David was saying, like, I don't mind driving, but I don't want to drive too far, and how to establish trust and relationships. You don't have to drive at all. You're sitting on all these leads that are motivated to sell. We're emailing you whenever we upload stuff, but you still have 100 you can download from Probate Data. You can research as many as you want. You can go in and look at thousands upon thousands of cases in Probate Data and see which ones that you like once you've identified your market. So we had, I forget her last name. Her name is Michelle. Michelle, she's up in, I mean, she's on today. Maybe she can unmute herself and she can jump in. She's up in Northern Cal. She has a very specific pocket that she likes to work with. And I love what she did. She's like, okay, I'm getting all these leads for these areas that I don't really care about. I just care about this pocket for whatever her reasoning. She knows her market. She feels confident she can get her deals listings there. So there's all these, let's say out of this many leads that we send her and she has access to, maybe she uses 30% of them. Then she started thinking to herself, well, what about the other 70%? It would be a pity if they went to waste, but I don't want to go chasing them because they don't fit my criteria. And she started thinking, well, there's investors that'll go after this. So she partnered up with a local investor. She goes, look here, this is your line desk. She paid for another line desk. She put in all the leads in there and all the protocol and the phone scripts that she wanted them to use, and they had their own. She goes, use line desk, establish contact, get the deal done. And if you just buy it and you want to hold, then give me a cut. And if you buy it and you want to list it, give me the listing. Or if you list it with someone else, give me a referral fee. So you guys see what I'm saying here is like, she did it on a very micro level in her own little backyard. She's like, I just want these 5 square miles here. Anything above that, I'm going to give it to my investor over here. I'm going to open up. Here's the brilliant thing. She set up a line desk. So she's not just sending him spreadsheets or crossing her fingers saying, hey, let me know when something closes. She's like, no. I'm going to give it to you in a format and in a platform that I can control. I can see if you're interacting. I can see if you're calling them. I can see if you are sending in emails. And then based on that action, I'm expecting results. Now, I'm just being completely honest with you guys. I'm just creatively coming up with something new for you guys to reach out beyond your comfort zone, beyond your current market if you're low on inventory, if you don't have enough to go by. But my hunch is that you have enough already. There's historical leads you can prospect, and I showed you many times how to do that, and we've been emailing you guys for a while now. And then there's, if your courthouse open, there's new findings that are coming in. So regardless of the market, what it's doing, going up and down, sideways, whatever is happening, the probate real estate is tied to the life cycle, not the economic cycle. And this is why it's so crucial you guys understand that, and you don't ride the ups and downs as much as everybody else, because you have something you're plugged into that's always there. It's been in there for like over 240 years, and it's going to be there into perpetuity, as long as I can tell. Probate law was established 240 years ago because there was a problem with settling estates. And there's still a problem with settling estates, because for as long as 95% of Americans don't have a fully vested living trust, like my dad did, 95% of Americans are going to settle their estates, or their heirs are going to settle their estate the way they did with Mike Torres and his family, which is going through probate, right? And this is where you guys come in, right? Most of you, almost all of you on this call are CFRES certified. And that's why the market needs you. The market demands you. You are in high demand right now, and will be for a long time, until MTI education and probate data has reached over 1 million agents. Now we've got our work cut out for us, right? And we're not going to hit 1 million agents. I don't think so. But we've only certified 11,000 agents. And let me just be really, like, it's just me and just 30 of you, right? It's just us here right now. Let me be totally frank with you, completely honest. Of the 11,000 agents, how many do you think have access to probate data? Maybe 1,000, right? I know the real numbers, but let's just say 2,000 people. Now those 2,000 people, how many are actively prospecting using probate? Look, this is one of the things. I subscribe to things that I use from time to time, and I subscribe to things that I never use, and I subscribe to things that I always use. The things that I use from time to time, I hold on to because I use it from time to time. The things I use all the time, obviously I keep the subscription. The things I never use are the things that I'm probably going to get back to, but I don't want to lose out on this great deal that I got a while back. So I hold on to it. We have many instances where people are subscribing to probate data or are certified, but they're not doing anything with it. They're not showing up for the coaching calls. They're not showing up for the power gyms. They're not showing up for the master classes. They're not engaging with their community. They're not taking advantage of anything that we provide them. They're just looking for the next thing. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. They're always looking for the next shiny object. The ones that stay focused, you guys, because you're on this call, the ones that stay focused, that want to stay engaged, that want to keep learning, are the ones that are going to be going after that 1.6 million to 1.8 million listings a year that are going to be happening in probate. So do the math. If you have fewer than 1,000 agents that are actively involved, keep going at it, showing up for meetings, showing up for the community, showing up for themselves, showing up for their community, local community, are fully bought into this and believe in probate real estate. You have fewer than 1,000 agents chasing 1.6 million listings a year. Somebody do the math for me. What is that, 160 listings per agent? Or 1,600 listings per agent? The numbers are mind-boggling. Obviously, no one's going to get 1,600 listings in a year. But my point is this.
1,600.
Thank you. Yeah, 1,600. I'm oversimplifying and being a little dramatic here to get through to you guys that you have plenty of work. You've got plenty of data. And if you think outside your little county and start thinking about, well, I could, you know what? I get, let's say LA County. I'm getting all of LA County. There's like 400, 350 cases per month that I'm getting. I can't use all of them. I don't want to do all of them. I just specialize in the Valley. I don't want to go down to, I don't want to do Beverly Hills. I don't want to do these other, well, I know someone who does Beverly Hills really well. Like for example, Andrea Schenk. Maybe I call her up and say, hey, let me warm up these leads. I know you have access to them too, but if I got you a listing appointment, would you give me a referral fee? And if that's too close to home, if that's too competitive, you go out of state. You go somewhere to look. And this is where you have to believe in your skill set, obviously. I will help you get a listing. And once you get the listing, how can we split the commission here? Now, another thing you could do, and this is where I don't know how this works. So you have to do a little research. So I'm not guaranteeing this is going to work, but I'm just saying this is a possibility. You could approach non-CPRES agents and say, hi, you know, I noticed you're in this market and I have access to motivated sellers in this market, and I'm certified in probate real estate. The certification is nationwide. If you and I don't know how this is going to work. If you can co-list it, or they have to list it and they pay a referral fee, and you just quarterback the whole transaction. They run all the paperwork by you. You get on Zoom calls with them. You become the CPRES backbone of them, and they kind of lean on that. And then you help them get the listing, and you kind of keep an eye on it, and you help them get through it. One of two things, or maybe two things will happen. They get the listing, you get your referral fee, but also they might want to decide to become CPRES themselves, or they may not want to get CPRES. And by the way, this is not me trying to pitch you to go out and pitch CPRES. I'm just thinking out loud what could possibly happen. So this is how I would approach it. I would go out and look, realize number one, there's very few of you, going after a huge amount of listing opportunities. 90% of probate cases will sell real estate within 12 months. Compare this with the figures from NAR that says only 6% of current homeowners will sell within 12 months. So if you and I went fishing and said, hey, David, there's a pond over here with 90 fish and there's one over here with 6, where do you want to go? 90 fish, right? 90% versus 6. Now I'm talking about motivation, and to find those 6% in the general market, you got to mail the entire market. You got to canvas, you got to door knock the entire market to find 6 out of 100, right? Whereas over here, there's 90 out of 100. It's much easier to find them. And by the way, we told you who they are because they filed. And like I always say, when they file, that's the signal that they're ready to move on, whether grandma passed away last week, last year, or 10 years ago. The moment they file is the moment they're ready to move forward. Okay, so remember these things that I'm sharing with you today, because I'd hate for you guys to see you get stuck in analysis paralysis and thinking that there's low inventory, because I know what's going on with most agents. They're stuck and saying there's not enough inventory. They get anxious, they get desperate. That does not apply to you. You're certified, you have access to leads, and now you go to lead your community, you go to lead your prospects, right? Like I always say, be mission driven, not commission driven, and the rest will take care of itself. Like Brad always says, what's your number one challenge that you're facing right now when you talk to these people? And when you call them, and no matter what they say on the phone, either I don't want to talk to you, what do you want, now is not a good time, I'm not sure what you're talking about, who are you, whatever they say, the first answer is always, that's exactly why I'm calling. I get all these calls all the time, that's exactly why I'm calling. Whatever they say, that's exactly why you're calling, right? Because you're here to help them. I'm gonna take a breather, a little bit of water, see if there's any questions in the chat. Okay, I see a lot. Let's see here. Is this helpful, by the way?
I have a question.
Very much.
Yes, who is that, Bob?
Yeah, it's Bob Depew.
Hey, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm one of those MIA agents. I just left Keller Williams and went to a private boutique agency located in Laguna Woods, California, which is a huge senior community.
Yeah.
I've been so busy over there, I haven't had a chance to get back to this, but this week I finally started seeing some daylight. We're going to start getting back to work. So I've not had any luck at all with, I probably have been mailing anywhere from 200 to 2,500 letters to administrators.
Okay.
I literally got 0 response.
Okay.
And my question to the group is, where are you finding your better success, with the attorneys or with the administrators?
Most likely the administrators or the executors. They'll call you back eventually. I've had a couple or 3 to call me back. And so it's, you have to be consistent. And now I see that you're sending quite a bit of mailings out. So was that your first mailing?
No, I always follow up with a second letter. If I don't have any response, then I move on.
If you have the phone number, call them. or if you have the email address, email them, because I've had answers from those too.
Yeah, Bob, here's the thing. It's unlikely that you're gonna get, well, not unlikely. It happens that you get callbacks depending on what you're sending, how you're sending it. One of our more successful students is Deborah Riley. She her formula is four mailers, one phone calls, 4 mailers, 1 phone call, 4 mailers, 1 phone call. So every 4th letter, she follows up with a call, and then she keeps at it. She keeps at it. She keeps at it. So it's a contact sport, multi-contact. Meaning you got to text them, call them, mail them, keep following up. One of the things that I see happen a lot is like agents just mail a lot and go, this doesn't work. No one's calling me. You know, they're busy. They're probably getting a lot of mailers. You got to call, you got to follow up, maybe send a postcard that stands out, or maybe like Brad talks about, like send mail that's bulky, that stands out, that's different, right? One of the things that Brad sends out is one of those architect planning tubes. They're like this big, and he rolls up his letter and he stuffs it in there. It costs him more, but it stands out. So when he makes the call, he goes, hey, I'm the guy who sent you the planning tube. Did you get it? Oh yeah, I wonder what that was. And then you have a conversation going. Because it's never a good time for them to talk. Remember that. And then even when they get the mail, it's like, I got to talk to someone about this. Then they get distracted by something else. So it's always good to call, always good to follow up by phone, Bob. Was that helpful, Bob? You okay?
Yeah, I like the blue envelopes.
There you go.
Hey, John.
You know, back in early in the days, one of the things we were saying was that you could spray, you could put stickers on the envelopes, like have colorful envelopes. Some agents even sprayed perfume or cologne on it so it stood out. So they had more senses of engagement when they open up the letters. Marin is asking, is there any way to add emails for the PR as well as mobile phone numbers? So we're actually, we are, when we upload the data to Probate Data, we've been doing this for about eight months now. We used to be with white pages. We shifted data provides IDI, which provides phone numbers and email addresses in many instances. And in those instances where we don't have a phone number, email address, we recommend that you go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and look up the keyword skip tracing for real estate, and you'll find different people that will do the skip tracing for you, and they'll find phone numbers and email addresses for you, and then you can approach them that way. Does that make sense, Marin?
It makes sense. Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
You know, I use Realty Juggler, and I like it because of the way the touch factor is. As it was mentioned a while ago, that you got to stay consistent. One of the things that I do as soon as I get it downloaded, it's uploaded into RJ. Then, you know, from there, I make the letters. I send the letters out. I send my notes to myself, and then I have a touch program. It'll tell me, hey, in 2 weeks or 7 days or on this specific date, follow up.
Yeah.
And that's what I do exactly. I'll call, and if I make an engagement, you know, I'll say, hey, you know, I just sent you a letter, you know, I am such certified probate specialist. I never say that I'm a realtor, because sometimes that's a negative connotation to them.
Okay.
I just tell them, hey, I'm a certified probate specialist in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I sent you a letter, and I'm calling to make sure you understood why I sent it.
Oh, I like that.
And then I just try to engage from there. A lot of times I'll get cussed out. A lot of times I'll get hung up. Sometimes they won't answer, so I get a voice recorder. And right to my right here, I have my scripts in case I do get the recording, what it is I say. So, you know, when I go, my scripts are right here to my side. So as I'm talking to anybody, I just have to glance to get myself back on cue with what I'm trying to say. I'm never lost as to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever that kind of call engaged, I make my notes. Here's my problem, though. 3 to 4 weeks after my sending letters, sending a postcard, leaving a message, I check back on the MLS to see, or the assessor, to see if there's been any name change, and there has. All of a sudden it's sold. I mean, just yesterday I had to delete 18 prospects that I had that I've been working, trying to make call.
Yeah.
They're gone. And so, you know, that gets frustrating.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been doing this, you know, I'm luckily that I still, you know, call on FSBOs, because if it hadn't been for that, you know, I know I'd be underwater.
Yeah.
But that's a discouraging part. I get the number part from you that there are not enough certified probate agents working this. I think it's a gold mine. It's like you said, it's a life cycle, not an economic cycle. It's going to keep happening over and over.
Yeah.
And I believe that. And I want this to be the one to take me home.
Yeah.
But it gets discouraging when something like that happens. And that's why I was asking about emails, because I'm one who wants to, I want to make a 45-second video, say, for whatever, and if they click on the next link, that'll get them to me, contact right now or whatever. But I have not been able to get that to where I can implement that into an image to text.
Yeah.
That's been part of the conversation I've been having on Facebook. No one's been able to tell me how to do it or if it can be done. And so, it's wearing me out. There's just a lot of ways to try to contact the PR, but the end result is they have to want to be willing to contact you.
Yes, I hear you. It's something you put a lot of work into, and then they end up going with somebody else, or it's sold. It could be very, very frustrating.
Sure.
I see it happening in every market, in every segment, and it's very frustrating. Let me just ask you, how long you been doing this for?
Probates, I started back because I was working with a firm out of Houston, and so that's just when short sales actually hit the market in 2008, 7, and 8. And so I've been doing probates that were short sales back since then.
Okay, so you've gotten listings out of it. You know it works.
Sure.
So maybe it's just if I were to look at your overall, like what I call a sales funnel, and how you get your leads and how you follow them, how you automate and all that, so you don't miss out on 18 opportunities and you got to delete those. I would look at ways, and I think you're onto something in terms of getting emails and phone numbers and using those more effectively. I would look at tightening that aspect of your funnel up a little bit. Someone just Takesha said it can be done what you're trying to do. It's called Bomb Bomb. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's saying that's exactly, and you can unmute yourself, Takesha, if you have experience with it. You can help Marin think that through. Apparently that will get the job done for you. You can record your videos and send it out by text and by email, I believe. And it tracks what clicks and watches.
The thing there is I got to have a number. I've got to have somewhere to send the text, because I can do that. I mean, I do that all the time. I do that on Messenger. Messenger allows you to do a 15-second video to send to anybody you know.
So let me ask you. Let me help you solve this right now. How many petitioners would you say you're lacking a phone number for? Just give me a while. Just give me 200, 300?
No, I wouldn't be that high. I mean, I've got probably 400 probate leads in RJ right now, but whether they're good or not, they're not responding. They're not calling back. And is it a work number? Is it their home number? Is it?
So how many are missing? How many are missing a phone? How many are missing a phone number?
Quarter of them.
So about 100?
Sure.
Okay. So this is what I would do, right? And I don't know if you've been on some of our past classes or watched some of the replays. Go get the phone numbers, right? Just go get them. Like if we don't provide them, we didn't get them through IDI. Just go get the phone numbers. And the way you get the phone numbers is through Fiverr, FIVERR.com.
I'm familiar with it.
You familiar with the Fiverr? Okay. And then there's people that do skip tracing. They use TLO, they use LexisNexis, they use Bin Verified, they use Fast. They use all these paid services, and they'll get you, a couple different phone numbers and an email address. So you send those 100.
I've been using White Pages. It's been working pretty good.
White Pages works well for you. Okay, just go get them and then keep trying it. Keep trying it. Because here's what I can see happen really easily. You bite into the apple, it's sour because you just lost 18, and you're like, well. And I'm not saying this is exactly what happened to you, but I could see this play out for some agents. Maybe it applies to you too, Marin, that you bite into the apple, it's bitter or it's sour, and that's even maybe there's a half a worm in there. You're like, oh man, I'm just spitting it out. Like, this is not what I want, right? And now that kind of tarnishes the whole experience. And then the 100 that are missing phone numbers, say, those are the ones that maybe you focus on. Like, I don't have phone numbers, so I can't do anything. I got Bomb Bomb, I can do a video, but I don't have the phone numbers, I don't have the emails. So I can't do anything. So the solution is go get them, right? Go get them, find someone who can go get them for you and get out of there. Because I understand if you're sitting on 18 golden opportunities and they're just like gone like that, that has got to be at the very least unnerving and frustrating, and I'd be ticked off if that happened to me. So I would use that fuel to just go get better qualified leads, or go out and take the leads that I have and get them qualified by getting their phone numbers, you know? So use Fiverr. And I can even talk to you about the one guy we found there that's like, he'll get you 500 records. He'll search 500 records for like $30. And he seems to have outstanding reviews. Let me see if I can find him real quick. I'll put him in the chat. Would that be okay with you guys?
By the way, I don't mind sharing the Apple with one.
You don't? Fiverr.com.
And gimmicks do work pretty well, like what Brad did with that too. In fact, for my FISBOs, a lot of times I'll put a stamp on the letters that I sent them that says refrigerate after opening. What like that is, when they open the fridge, of course, they see my magnetic business card. So that's all.
I like it. I like it. All right, I just put in the, oh, I sent that to David only. Hold on, let's do that again. Let's send it to everyone. So here's one guy that looks promising. Again, I'm not endorsing him. I'm just saying he looks pretty promising. Right. He'll hook you up, and using TLO, which is TransUnion, right? And BIN verified. So Esther's saying, you mentioned all the other classes. I was not aware that there was more. I only do Friday's class, but how can I find out about the other three you mentioned? So here's what I'll do for today's replay. For Esther, are you on UPLC? Here's what I'll do. For today's replay, I'll send out the email, and then I'll attach a PDF that has a list of all the classes. And it has basically the Tuesday class, which is live Zoom at 1 o'clock. It has the Wednesday call-in details for the Wednesday coaching call with Jack. It has the Thursday, if you're UPLC, it has the Thursday details for that. And for Probate Data, it has some details for that. So it's just one PDF, you can print it out, you just have it handy, it has all the links in there, you can just bookmark them and be ready to go. Let's see here. Other questions? US is saying, I have not received any leads from Maricopa County in Arizona since March. When will they start sending them again? That is a great question. Arizona is complete lockdown. We have a really hard time getting access to anything in there or getting in. So my recommendation to you is to go back in time, historical prospecting. We've got a pretty good bench there. Go back a year, 2 or 3, and just download cases, cross-reference them, check the last sale date, and have at it. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it in terms of questions. Takesha is asking, is there anyone here that would like to partner with me to do script practice? Takesha, that's a great question. And if you don't get any bites here, I would just go to the Facebook group. If you're part of CPress, you're still part of CPress? I see you nodding. Okay, go. So go in there and just say, hey, here's where I'm at. I want to do script practicing. Whether you, I don't know if you care about whether it's your market or if it wants to be an outside market, it doesn't really matter. Just say where you're at, how long you've been doing it, what scripts you want to practice, and you're looking for a script partner. And also I would say be specific about it. Like, I'm looking for someone to do calls on these days at this time for 15 minutes, because people are either overly easily commit, say, yeah, I'll do it. And then when it comes down to figuring out, I was like, I don't have time, I don't want to do it. Or if it's too vague of a request, people don't want to commit to something they don't understand. So if you just say, this is, I could do these days, these time blocks, who's in, right? And that way people will respond. That way you're not wasting your time going back and forth on Messenger and all of that. Let's see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. Let me just see, was today helpful? Was this useful for you guys?
Yes.
We didn't talk a lot of data, I get that, but you know, if you go to youtube.com/probate data, all our past classes are there. You know, watch those. Historical prospecting there. I've done interview with with agents that are getting results. You can watch interviews there. Some of them last up to like 40 minutes. There's like 4 interviews in there. If some of you guys want to get on that podcast that I'm doing, or those interviews, just email me, info@probatedata.com, and then we'll talk about your business. We'll see what's happening. And it'll just be a relaxed conversation that you can see I did with those guys before. I think there's 4 of them. There's Monica Botten in Georgia. There's John Matukas in LA. There's Jerry Marbury in Arizona, and Deborah Blue in Georgia as well. So we have 2 ladies from Georgia, a gentleman from LA, and a gentleman from Arizona.
If I could get a word in edgewise, this is Steve Rabin. I'm located in the East Bay in
Yeah.
San Francisco,
Okay.
and I'm relatively new to the CP Res group. I'm a broker. But my main business is accounting and tax resolution. I'm a CPA. I
Okay.
have a small firm in the financial district in San Francisco, and we remain open and extremely busy. The commercial real estate is very slow, but
Okay.
the landlords are really hurting because they can't evict, and there's at least 10% of their residents are non-paying.
Ouch.
But everybody has tax problems. It's estimated that about a third of Americans won't be able to pay their taxes this year. And
Wow.
many of them are dealing with it by not filing, which is very much the wrong thing to do. It's much better to file and not pay than it is to ignore the government completely. In any case, unfortunately, I can't do the referral fee thing because the accounting regulators prevent me from paying or receiving commissions on sales.
Okay.
But I'm certainly willing to help anybody who wants to work with me in the sense of serving client needs and also doing what we can for each other. I'm going to post my email in case anybody wants to connect with me. Also, about half my clients I've never met in person. I work with them entirely remotely using a portal, and my prospecting is also very interesting. What I typically do is I take the leads from the probate system or elsewhere, and I send them an invitation to connect on LinkedIn. And then when they do that, they see my testimonials, all the people who've benefited from my services. And it's a very soft sell. So typically we do nothing. And then maybe 3 months or a year later, they realize that they have tax problems. And then they reach out to me and they're very motivated. And at that point, I make a decision. Are they going to be a good client? Do I really want to work with them? Or are they going to be problematic? In which case I'd pass on the business. So I only spend time with motivated clients. And that's really the secret to my marketing success, is that the clients are reaching out to me and they're all motivated. And if they're not, then I don't spend time with them. But anyway, I'm going to post my email in case anybody wants to have more dialogue or.
That's phenomenal. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for mentioning this, because I think it would be really interesting, maybe have an interesting session and invite you in as a guest speaker to talk about taxes and tax implications and what people are experiencing and going through, because it will give all our students more compassion and understanding for what their clients are going through and their prospects are going through, number one. So thanks for doing that. And I'm putting out there. So please go ahead and put your email in the chat box. That's great. The second thing I'll mention to you, Steve, think about this. You know, you have access to probate data. You could reach out to people, to cases that were filed, you know, a year or two ago, where most likely the situations have closed. I mean, the cases have closed and everything's been settled. Chances are people that have just settled in a state or right around there, they might be facing questions around what to do with their money and tax implications and all that. So it might be interesting for you to find out, like, at what point should you be talking to the heirs and beneficiaries that are getting paid all this money? I don't know if you I don't know if what you do qualifies under the label of you know, financial planning, or maybe you have financial planners that you can refer it out to, and you can figure out some kind of referral for you there. But it'd be really interesting for me to see personally, see what kind of inroads you make with the cases and the beneficiaries and the heirs, if you reach out to them right when they're about to settle or right after they settled, because that's when their taxes can get confusing. And I imagine connecting with people on LinkedIn will also be very beneficial. So thanks for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. Bailey's saying, so Steve posted his contact details. That's
Welcome on that. And the one biggest flag for realtors is that if you're working with elderly people, typically they want to get a step-up basis on the property. And sometimes that conflicts with the desire to actually sell the property and get a commission. But if you recommend the step-up basis, they'll love you for it. And then when they do pass, the estate will want to use you to claim that step-up basis. So
the step-up basis, as far as I understand, it basically means that that it's the gains on the property is not when they bought it, but when they passed away. So the timeline between when they passed away and when the property sold, whatever gain there would have been there, that's where they owe taxes. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm assuming any qualified CPA would know about this, right? So they don't overpay on taxes.
Realtors don't, and they end up selling the property right before they die, and then they have a huge tax bill, and everybody's unhappy.
Right.
So you don't want to do that.
So I think maybe if it's of interest, maybe what we'll do for the whole community, not just Probate Data community, but everybody, the whole family, so to speak. Maybe we'll have a tax class, or we'll have some key questions to ask, petitioners as you're prospecting and helping them go through this. That will help minimize their tax implications. So that could be interesting. Bailey's saying, I'm a realtor working with a CPA as a plus. So just check the chat, guys. There's some contact information there. My email address is also in there, info@probatedata.com. That's a good place to email me. Takesha, it's called step-up basis. Step-up basis. So the basis of, so when you sell something, you make money and you have a capital gains, the government wants to get paid. But there's a big difference between what you paid 30 years ago and what the property was worth last year when grandma passed away. So you don't want to pay taxes on what it was worth 30 years ago, because that could be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars versus what it was worth last year. So if, let's say when she bought it for $20,000, and when she passed away, it was worth $500,000, and now it's worth, say, $600,000. So the difference between $500,000 and $600,000, that's where taxes get paid, as far as I understand it. We have a CPA on the call now, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. Versus what could happen if it doesn't get done right, the government will take the taxes that, and they say, well, you owe taxes on when she bought it for $20,000 and $600,000, so you've got to pay tax on $580,000 capital gain versus just $100,000. So those are little things that I was saying to Steve, like any self-respecting CPA should know about this. But it'd be a good thing for realtors to just talk about without giving tax advice and say, we talk about this on the CPRES classes a lot, like how do you build your referral network of professionals? And then next week on Tuesday, we're going to talk about CPAs actually. So Steve, your comments and your timing are perfect. So them understanding that there's a step-up base and all that's obviously important. So when you're talking to the PR petitioner, executive administrators, whatever the term is that you want to use, tell them, like, look, most people don't know this, but when grandma passed away, you want to avoid her paying taxes on the capital gains from when she bought the house. That would be a huge loss to the entire state, and also your own, what you're going to get paid.
Okay, I'm sorry, really quick, but isn't we go in and we give them a probate CMA from when that person passed away versus the day that they're looking at selling it? Wouldn't that have some kind of effect on it also?
Exactly, you nailed it. That's it. Yeah.
That's
so the
same thing.
probate CMA is exactly it. Right. That's when you talk to people, and you say, well, because I'm a professional, I'm going to prepare a PCMA for you. Do you know what a CMA is? They go, no. It's okay. It's a comparable market analysis that basically tells you how the house is compared to the rest of the market and how much we think we can get for it. A PCMA is the value of the house at the time of passing. So if grandma passed away 2 months ago, there's probably less value in it. But if she passed away a year, 2 or 3 ago, 10 years ago, there's probably more value in it, right? And that's how you stand out from the rest of the crowd. And that's why we have a lot more agents to certify than the ones we've currently certified. Tax class would be very helpful. Okay, Carrie. So let me talk to Mike and Molly, see what their thoughts are. Yeah. Steve is saying don't sell before you die or the heirs will take it all, instead refinance. That's right. Load it up with debt, take out the money. So when you pass away, it's just, there's nothing there for the IRS, or very little, I should say. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. I always say these things will last 30 minutes and then we end up like close to an hour. So thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for your patience. Let me know if I can be of any other help. Just email info@ProbateData. Let me know if there's any topics you want to discuss. And make sure you visit youtube.com/ProbateData. And they're all our classes. So this recording will be there again probably by Monday. And then when I email you guys a replay, I'll include the PDF that has all the other classes. That's it for me.
Appreciate the time you spend with us.
Absolutely. I like spending time with you guys. Be well, stay safe, and wash those hands. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.